What's up, guys? Ryan here from Mudgunner. On today's video, we are asking, what kind of American are you? I'm just kidding. That's probably dumb. But we're talking about the new movie that just came out, Civil War, and just kind of my thoughts on it, because I saw it this weekend with a group of friends. And yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of an interesting topic to talk about. It's not going to be like a super breakdown that some of the other channels are doing, and I'm not going to show you guys footage from the movie, but I just figured it's kind of an interesting movie, and honestly, they got everyone hyped up for it, and it was a little bit of a letdown. I'm not going to say it was terrible, but I was hoping for a little bit more. So let's talk about it. So the new Civil War movie is, well, you would think it's mostly about the Civil War, but it's really about this group of journalists that are trying to get to Washington, D.C. to interview the president. And along the way, they're trying not to die, and they have to deal with some stuff, which makes sense, but I think they could have done a little bit better with this movie. I think they could have executed it a little better. Speaking of executions, there's actually a few executions in this movie, so if you're squeamish about blood or executions, specifically with guns, maybe not your kind of movie, but I like gory movies. I grew up watching a variety of gory movies and horror movies, so it doesn't bother me. And then now that I'm super into guns, that type of stuff doesn't bother me. I've watched basically all the modern war movies there are, and yeah, there's some pretty intense ones. This one, not super intense, but again, they do have some, point blank executions with ARs and whatnot. So, oh, also spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie yet and you want to, maybe don't watch this video because I am going to be spoiling some of it. But if you watched it, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Again, I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's worth watching at least once, but I think I would have rather saved my money to watch a different movie because, we had like a whole group of 18 people out watching it, so it was fun. But I think the trailer for Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare looks like a way cooler movie, and I'm actually kind of excited to go see that one. And I don't think that one will be as big of a letdown. Not that this one was a letdown. I didn't have like super high expectations for it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of that trailer, because honestly, if you guys like the movie reviews, we could do that one too, because I'll probably watch that here soon. But yeah, Civil War, it's about a modern Civil War, like if it was today, 2024 or 2025. And for the record, I don't want a Civil War. Like, I like having a house and stability and being able to buy guns. But yeah, we're just talking the movie specifically. It's kind of interesting because they do talk about how things kind of got started. So the president disbanded the FBI. What else did he do? I don't remember. I only watched it the one time, and it takes me a few times to really remember all the details from a movie. But they talked about the FBI being disbanded. It's California and Texas, of all of the two states, going up against the government. I guess us here in Arizona, we're neutral, which cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to partner with California. But yeah, it's California and Texas, also known as the Western Forces in this movie. They are the main protagonists or antagonists. I don't know. Whatever side you're going to pick from. But yeah, they are the main force going up against the U.S. government. They talked about it briefly that the Florida rebellion got squashed, and then there's a bunch of neutral states that are just trying to stay out of it. But in the beginning, it starts off pretty slow. There is some kind of gory, not gory, but there's some brutal photography and like war journalism talks in it. And what is it, Mary Jane. This movie is basically about Mary Jane and Pablo Escobar. If you don't know the reference, Spider-Man and Narcos on Netflix, both good shows and movies. But yeah, you have Mary Jane and Pablo Escobar going to the Washington, D.C. to get this journalism done. But yeah, she's basically been a war journalist for probably most of her life, and it shows some intense scenes that she would have dealt with. And she's kind of reliving that throughout the movie. And I think she did good with her character as far as like portraying someone that's seen the absolute worst of human beings, like the worst of humankind has to offer. So I think they portrayed her character pretty good. The guy that plays her journalist, I don't even think he's her boyfriend, just dude, the guy that played Pablo Escobar in Narcos, his character was kind of a stoner, he's not a photographer, he just wants to interview, and his interview question sucked at the end. So yeah, it's them together. They get this kid that just wants to come take photos too. I'm like butchering describing this, but yeah, it starts off slow. They're going state by state. They have like 500 miles to get to DC. Along the way, you'll see in the trailer they show the two guys sniping. That scene was kind of like it was all of 5 minutes, and then yeah, they made that seem like it would be more. They show some footage in the movie where they're following like the Western Forces soldiers, and it's basically a bunch of Boogaloo boys. Like the first scene is with them shooting is these guys in Hawaiian shirts and like mismatching carriers and guns going up against, I would assume, the U.S. military, and they have the low ground and they're kind of pinned down, but they still end up winning, and they literally bring the journalists up to, execute the last guy with them, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, that first firefight made it seem very cheesy, and then I would say it progressively got a little bit better, but there's not too many firefights. The very end firefight was okay, and then aside from that, it's not much of a gun movie. Now I will say there are guns in there, and there is specifically a lot of EOTechs. Like they had a pretty grand EOTech budget. You see a lot of M4s set up very much like this, and I even saw what I think is an old Daniel Defense V7, but this is the V7 that is before M-LOK, if you know which one I'm talking about. Like their Savannah, Georgia manufacturing Daniel Defense. Now, I'm probably a gun nerd for knowing that, but just looking at the rail, I saw for sure that the stock was a Daniel Defense, but I'm pretty sure it was an old school V7, which is cool. I want to get one of those. But aside from that, you have a lot of EOTechs on M4s, and yeah, I mean, they're cool, like retro setups that have been around for a long time, so I appreciate those. The one dude with the pink glasses, he's a little crazy. Again, I guess this is if you guys have already watched it, but if you hadn't, that guy is basically murdering people and executing people, asking them if they're an American and where they're from. And unfortunately, my fellow family member friend in the movie, he gets executed for saying he's from Hong Kong. I'm not from Hong Kong, but my dad's side of the family is. So, yeah, they portrayed his fear pretty well, I would say. And dude, that guy just point blank bopped him, and that scene was one of the better ones, and I think they really kind of portrayed it in the trailer. I'm like, I don't get the glasses, but he had pinkish glasses, not with hearts. This is from my girlfriend's birthday last year. It was a decent scene, and then again, as we get closer to them getting to Washington D.C., there's a big firefight where the Western Forces has like an entire army with them at this point, and they have tons of aircraft, and yeah, they storm DC pretty easily. I mean, there's not much of a fight. Another thing you'll see in a lot of the opening scenes is what I assume is like minigun fire into the sky, and it's just a lot of tracers shooting at nothing, and they use a lot of that. But when they storm the Capitol itself and storm the White House, honestly, I thought the entry fight was not bad. Again, I know it's not realistic, guys. Like, I realize that. It's just a fun scene. I will say the two Humvees rolling up, why did they not take out that 240 like first? That guy was lighting them up. And then once they break into the gate of the White House, 3 cars just roll out right past a tank, and I was like, why didn't the tank shoot them? And then I thought that girl that was in the presidential vehicle, I thought that car was gonna blow up and kill all those people that walked too close to it, but it didn't. And then when they're fighting in the White House hallway, like they went from having an entire army to a group of like 5 guys with the photographers right behind them. Like there was no one else helping them. The guy that plays the president, he's only in like the first couple minutes of the movie and like the last 60 seconds. Like that's it. That's nothing. I don't even think they said his name. So this isn't it's not very political because it's not like Republican versus Democrat. This is just California and Texas versus the rest of the U.S., which is kind of funny. And then they basically like they were finishing on a high note, but then once Mary Jane, again, I don't know her name. I think it's Kirsten something. I don't know her last name. When she saves the kid from getting shot and she just stands there and the kid just looks up and is like, smile. That part was dumb to me. And then the fact that they threw such a big deal about the other dude that got shot when he rescued them, but then she's lying on the ground dead and it's like, no big deal. Let's go get to the president. That was kind of cheesy to me. I think they could have done her more justice. And then, yeah, just the final scene with the president, that was kind of lame. Like, he had no protection. That girl that was trying to barter for his life, they had nothing to barter with. So, yeah, again, I'm probably butchering this review in a way, but it's just like honest thoughts after watching it one time. And I will say, if I have to give it a rating, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Because again, it's not a terrible movie. I think it's worth watching at least once, but I don't think I would pay for a ticket if you're not making it an event. If it's just you and someone else going to watch it, I don't think it's worth it. But if you do want to watch a good Civil War movie, I would recommend The Patriot. that's probably the best Civil War movie that's out there, and it's the main one I know. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. But The Patriot is a good Civil War movie. Civil War, I don't know, it wasn't great. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this kind of short video idea, and let me know what you guys think of that trailer for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That one I'm excited to watch, and yeah, aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you stocked up on EOTechs like that movie did, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.